Have you ever looked at Xiaomi's phone lineup and thought, wait, why are there so many names? In this video, we'll make sense of them. By the end, you'll know exactly what each Xiaomi series stands for and which one might be right for you. Before we start, tell me in the comments which Xiaomi phone you're currently using and what you love or dislike about it. And if you find this video useful, please like and subscribe to support the Droid Sage. First, let's clear up the biggest confusion. What happened to the Mi series? You probably remember phones like the Mi 9, the Mi 10, and the legendary Mi 11 Ultra. For years, Mi was the name for Xiaomi's flagship phones. Then, in 2021, Xiaomi dropped it. They just got rid of it. The Mi 11 was followed by the Xiaomi 12. So, the Mi series isn't a separate lineup anymore. It's simply evolved. It's now the main Xiaomi series. The Mi brand was retired to simplify the company's global brand presence. They wanted the company name, Xiaomi, to be front and center on their premium products, just like Apple or Samsung. So, if you're looking for what replaced the Mi series, it's the main Xiaomi lineup. So let's start there with the Xiaomi series. This is the core lineup. These are the true flagship phones from the company, the best of the best they can produce for the mass market. Think of the Xiaomi 14, Xiaomi 15, and their Pro, and of course, the Ultra models. These phones compete directly with the Samsung Galaxy S Ultra and the iPhone Pro Max. The focus here is on three things: cutting-edge camera technology, the absolute best display, and premium build quality. This is where you'll find their partnership with Leica, the famous camera company. The Ultra model in this series is the pinnacle. It's a no-compromise device where they throw in every piece of technology they have, especially the camera. The main Xiaomi series is for the person who wants the best possible experience and is willing to pay for it. Next up, let's talk about the Xiaomi T series. You'll see these phones pop up about 6 months after the main flagship. For example, after the Xiaomi 14, we get the Xiaomi 14T and 14T Pro. The T historically stands for technology, and these phones are all about being flagship killers. They offer 90% of the flagship experience for maybe 70% of the price. So where do they cut corners? Usually, it's not the screen or the charging. The T series often has fantastic high refresh rate displays and incredibly fast charging, sometimes even faster than the main flagships from earlier in the year. The compromise is typically in two areas: the processor and the camera system. Instead of the absolute latest Snapdragon processor, the T Pro model might use a top-tier MediaTek Dimensity chip, which is still incredibly fast but costs less. The camera system is still great, but it usually won't be the same mind-blowing Leica system from the Ultra. The T series is for the smart buyer, the enthusiast who wants flagship speed and a premium feel, but doesn't want to pay the Ultra price tag. Now, let's move to the biggest part of Xiaomi's empire, Redmi. Redmi is technically a sub-brand. Think of it like this: Xiaomi is the parent company, and Redmi is their brand focused on value. Redmi's entire mission is to bring features from expensive phones down to a price that everyone can afford. And this brand is split into two main lines. First is the regular Redmi series. These are the entry-level, budget smartphones. Think of the Redmi 12, Redmi 13, and so on. These phones are the volume sellers. We're talking about devices that are often sold for under $200. The main goal of a Redmi phone is to be reliable and cover all the basics without any major flaws. You don't buy a Redmi phone for cutting-edge gaming performance or the best camera. You buy it for its gigantic battery, its decent enough screen, and its dependable day-to-day performance. This is the perfect phone for a parent, a first-time smartphone user, or anyone who just needs a phone that works and doesn't cost a fortune. They are incredibly important for Xiaomi's market share in developing countries. But the most popular and arguably most important series for the company is the Redmi Note series. This is the king of the mid-range. The Redmi Note series has sold hundreds of millions of units globally. This lineup is the definition of more for less. Every year, the Redmi Note series tries to bring one or two flagship features to the mid-range. One year, it was the first to bring a 108-megapixel camera to a sub-$300 phone. The next year, it was a 120Hz AMOLED display. Then, it was 120-watt fast charging. The Redmi Note Pro is the phone that most people should probably buy. It perfectly balances price, performance, and features. It's not as cheap as the regular Redmi, but it's not as expensive as the Xiaomi T or flagship series. This is the phone for the average user who wants a great camera, a beautiful screen, and good battery life without spending $1,000. It is the heart of Xiaomi's business. Okay, let's get into the more niche series. Have you heard of the Civi Series? If you live in Europe or the US, maybe not. The Civi Series is primarily focused on the Chinese market, though some of its models do get rebranded and released globally under different names. Civi is all about one thing: design. These phones are built to be thin, lightweight, and beautiful. They often come in unique colors and finishes. The other major focus for Civi is the selfie camera. Xiaomi puts its best front-facing camera technology and software processing into Civi phones. The target audience is clear: younger users and influencers who care a lot about the style of their phone and the quality of their selfies and vlogs. The rear cameras are good, but not the main focus. The processor is usually a mid-range or upper mid-range chip, powerful enough for social media and daily tasks, but not a gaming beast. It's a lifestyle product. Next is my favorite series, the Mix Series. The Mix Series is Xiaomi's concept car. This is where the company shows off its most futuristic and experimental technology. This isn't a phone they expect to sell in massive numbers. It's a phone designed to get headlines and push the industry forward. Remember the original Mi Mix? It practically invented the bezel-less phone trend back in 2016. The Mix Series is where we saw the first under-display camera from Xiaomi, and more recently, where their foldable phones live. The Xiaomi Mix Fold is their answer to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold. Now we have to talk about Poco. This is another sub-brand, and its story is a bit different. Poco started in 2018 with one phone, the Pocophone F1. That phone was a legend. It had a flagship Snapdragon 845 processor at a time when other phones with that chip cost 3 times as much. Poco's identity is everything you need, nothing you don't. It is purely focused on performance for the price. While Redmi is about all-around value, Poco is specifically for gamers and power users on a budget. They are famous for putting a high-performance processor and a high refresh rate screen in a phone with a plastic body and an average camera to keep the cost way down. Poco operates more independently than Redmi and targets a younger, more tech-savvy audience. They have their own F Series, the flagship killers, X Series, the mid-range all-rounders, and M Series, the budget performance phones. Finally, let's talk about Black Shark. Black Shark is, or perhaps we should say was, a separate company that Xiaomi invested in heavily. This was their dedicated gaming brand. Black Shark phones were anything but subtle. Big, aggressive-looking devices with RGB lights, dedicated liquid cooling systems, and physical shoulder triggers that popped out from the sides. The software was packed with gaming-specific modes, and the focus was 100% on performance. The highest touch sampling rates, the most powerful processors. However, in recent years, the dedicated gaming phone market has shrunk. Regular flagship phones like the Xiaomi 15 Pro are already so powerful, and Black Shark as a company has faced serious financial trouble. While they produce some amazing devices, the series is now essentially finished. Xiaomi is instead integrating more gaming features into its main Redmi and Poco lines. Now it's your turn. If you had to choose just one Xiaomi series, which would it be and why? Tell me your answer in the comments. As always, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.